All right, everybody. Welcome back to GBDA On Air, the podcast all things global business and digital arts. I'm your host, Charlie,
I'm your co-host, Kara.
and we're back from reading week. We have a very
Oh,
special
yeah.
guest, not only a GBDA alum, but a GBDA Society alum, Noah. How's it going,
Ooh.
Noah?
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Doing great. Happy to be here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot of fun. I really like this idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're glad it's come to fruition finally. Yeah, and we're back from reading week. How was reading week? Was it good for you, Kara?
It was good. I went back home, did some hiking.
Oh
Just
yes.
a fun time.
So the topics we'll be discussing this week will be revolving around a conversation with Noah. Will be the internship experience he had, Capstone Project in fourth year, as well as just overall GBDA experience.
But first, some noteworthy things.
Yes, a lot of
There's
noteworthy.
a lot of things going
a lot of
on.
noteworthy stuff right now coming back from reading week. So if you're trying to go abroad, the deadline for applications is November 1st. There's a couple meeting sessions coming up on the 23rd, 25th, 26th, and 29th. So make sure you catch those.
Or else you can't go abroad.
No.
Also, we have a sticker competition, and the deadline is tonight, October 22nd. There might be an extension, maybe, but remember, deadline's today.
Yeah. For now, yeah, deadline's tonight. We also, GBDA as a whole has been giving 40 free tickets for the UW versus Laurier football game that will be on October 30th at 1 p.m. Saturday.
It's going to be a fun time.
It'll be great. So yeah, there's a link in the GBDA Society Instagram bio if you want to register, get a free ticket, go see. It's going to be fun.
And Tuesday, October 26th, there's going to be a pumpkin carving contest since we're in the Halloween spirit from 9:30 to 1 o'clock on the third floor lounge.
Indeed. And yeah, Halloween dress up day will be on October 29th, next Friday. But feel free to dress up whenever you want if you're not here on Friday. We're trying to promote that for SOC. And yeah.
I want to see all of you guys in your costumes.
Exactly. That's what we want to see out here in Stratford. Also, we may be having a freak week on the final week of October.
Ooh.
More info on that soon. But
More info to come.
more info to come. We'll just leave it at that. Anyways, yeah, let's get into it. Been leaving Noah out here to sit for a little bit. All right, so Noah, let's just get into it. How did you get into GBDA, or why did you choose GBDA?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a wonderful question. I feel like I have a great story for that.
Okay.
So when I graduated from high school, I originally actually went to Sheridan College for 1 year. I took like a 1-year media fundamentals program. Honestly, like super amazing. They taught us everything, like all the basic stuff as far as, camera, videography, all the creative aspect. It was a very creative focused program. But the main takeaway that a lot of the like teachers had was like, knowing how to do all this stuff is great. Having that creative talent is great. But the real thing is like, you need to know how to sell your skills, and you need to know how to like, take them in a real aspect that's not just like concepts and reels and whatnot. So I was accepted to both the Bachelor of Film and Television at Sheridan, and then I found my way also accepted to GBDA. And so it was a tough decision, but I really valued GBDA because it had more of that aspect of learning how to sell your ideas and how to sell your concepts and skills, and it felt more practical than the film and television. But yeah, I just really loved the aspect that it combined a little bit of everything, and that was fun. I guess I've always been a sort of a little bit of everything type person, and so having that come together in GBDA was been really nice.
Yeah, I guess it's also fair to mention, if you might recognize Noah as he's currently running media services. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, at Stratford. So if you ever need equipment or camera or anything, come visit Noah. He'll hook you up.
Totally.
So yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, that's definitely, it's cool to see you've made that little bit of a shift there, and you're like, yeah, I want to take this a little bit further than just media. So yeah, that's awesome. And I guess we'll move on to the fourth year, or let's go to internship first. For the third year internship, what did you get involved with for your internship?
Okay, so that was definitely a hectic experience, to say the least. Because
okay.
The search for internships happened. Well, probably started like, well, it would have been the fall of my third year, which would have been, I guess 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. So I was just building my portfolio, building my website, building all that I could, because I knew like it's not necessarily an easy thing. Waterloo Works is fantastic, I will say that. So the actual finding the job isn't anything too stressful. It's more just like that
application process.
Yeah, the anticipation, the application, the like the thinking like, is this gonna be like the good enough kind of deal? So, that was good. In January, I can't remember all the deadlines for everything, but applying to Waterloo Works, getting all those set. I ended up getting, I think, 3 interviews from them after applying to like, I want to say at least like 50 places. So like it isn't necessarily the most easiest thing, but I ended up securing an internship with the University of the National University of Singapore.
Ooh.
I was gonna be there with one of their programs, teaching like bank executives like concepts of like design thinking and business in general.
Dang.
Oh, wow.
Which is a really awesome opportunity until
I feel something coming.
I feel like that's a common thing until COVID came around and it got canceled.
Oh no.
And it was heartbreaking, but it all came together. There's a positive spin. So that happened to lots of people where like their internships got canceled. Mine, it was an international deal, like so there wasn't really any flexibility.
There is no way
it.
that you could.
Yeah, totally. So it was with the University of Singapore until it got canceled, and so I know I wasn't the only one in that boat. And it was really stressful because we needed to find our internships, and we didn't know what the deal was. So.
Yeah, what were the steps from there? Because you like completely lose your internship. Like, what did you do afterwards?
Yeah, so Waterloo Works was in contact with me.
Okay.
They were like, well, before everything went down, it was more like, hey, COVID might impact you right now. What do you want to do? And I said, I want to stick with it. Like, I want to do Singapore, right? And so, after it was canceled, they had to figure out the new requirements, right? And so one of the concepts we could do was have 2 part-time internships.
Oh, okay.
That would count as a full-time internship. So that's what I ended up doing.
Oh.
I ended up getting back into Waterloo Works to search again and do that process. And I ended up finding 2 internships, one with a healthcare education startup called TrueAlta that provides an education platform for family caregivers caring for aging loved ones with Alzheimer's and dementia. So it's really great. That one was awesome. I was doing all sorts of design and whatnot. And then the other one was doing general design work for a youth leadership organization.
Cool.
Well, that's a lot of fun because then you got, like, obviously it's unfortunate that you couldn't go to Singapore, but you got 2 different experiences, which were obviously so valuable to you. What was, out of like both, you can answer for both as well because obviously they're both different experiences. What was like the one thing that you think you learned the most out of it?
Well, with TrueAlta, incredible experience, awesome company, really loved working with them. I actually continued with them past the summer. I worked with them for an entire year after like the summer internship period, which worked out very well. But there was almost like a validation, right, of being like, okay, I do know what I'm doing. Like, these people are liking what I'm doing. And I really loved working in a startup environment. It really thrived with me because, you're just working on like a ton of different projects at once, and like you might be doing this one week and this another week. And there was a really big aspect of just like taking a project, having no idea if it even can work, and then like, just trying things out, learning through the way, and hopefully getting something cool accomplished. So
that's awesome.
How did you
find, a lot of people ask this question, is like, how did you find balancing, well, in this case with internships, how did you find balancing 2 internships at once?
It wasn't tricky.
Okay.
I think the other opportunity had its own challenges. It almost just comes down to like scheduling of sorts and just really setting aside that time to work on stuff, especially like through the pandemic, working from home all the time. I found myself like I didn't have that separation of when wasn't I working per se and when was I supposed to be like actually relaxing. And that was really tricky, but actually sitting down, working with a timer honestly helped. Like just having a clock to be like, I am clocked in, I am working now. That helped. But yeah, finding that balance is tricky. Just a matter of really concrete setting into it.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. That was, although it might have not worked out in the beginning, but it kind of worked out in the end, right?
It really did, yeah.
It's the light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly. We're moving past it, hopefully. We're getting there. All right, so we'll get into at least for me, and I care probably too, we don't know a lot about the Capstone Project and what that brings. So could you kind of give the listeners or viewers a kind of insight about what to expect for the Capstone Project or what you did?
Yeah, absolutely. So I know the program changes pretty well every year. I'm
Oh
not sure
yes.
what all courses you got. But for mine, we had, one big capstone course that was worth 2 credits. And then there was a half credit portfolio course as well, just another, get your website and things set. So, yeah, in the fall term, it was all based around the Royal Society of Arts Student Design Awards.
Oh, the RSA, right?
Yeah, the RSA Design Awards.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, that was, I can't say for sure if they're still running that, but we basically got 11 different project briefs, things like, how can we support housing in the future, and how could we support environmental factors, or this and that. And so
So topics that were really meaningful,
but also like super broad, which is kind of tricky. So it was really nice because we had the opportunity to work with our group of friends and like kind of anyone who we wanted to, and it was a really great way to finish things off. But we started out the year, we were working on one brief, and we were doing all the research and everything else with it to find an idea to sort of do. And then there was a point halfway through the term where we like really pulled a 180 and so we essentially like changed our entire project halfway through the class, which was really challenging, but it came together well. It was one of those moments where we were like, yes, this works, because we're kind of just trying whatever was coming to our minds. And so then once we found something that really like spoke to us, it came together.
That's awesome.
But the profs were always super helpful. It's a very guided process. It's not like they're like, go make something and then see what comes of it. It's very much an iterative deal. So
yeah, that sounds very similar to, I'm in 301 right now, which is like an RSA project as well. So I don't know if that was the same for you.
Maybe ours was on a more like grand scale.
Yeah. Anyways, I was gonna ask, so what was the capstone project that you came up with?
Right. So in the first term, the brief that we chose was For the Long Time, is the title of it. And basically the concept was how can we get communities thinking for the longer term? And so the example they gave was like almost like a history map of a town or something. But we decided to build the community kitchen of the future.
Ooh.
So
what is it? I want to know.
Yeah, community kitchen of the future. So it was going to be a community kitchen that would run cooking classes as well as bring in local restaurants and cooks to give them a larger facility. And so the concept was it would develop, more education around food and quality food and healthy eating, as well as having a community garden to sustain food insecurity, where people could go and get a meal if they can't afford one, or encourage people to, recognize food being a challenge for some people. And that was the main concept of it. But it was fun because, we couldn't actually build this thing, but it was fun being able to research it all and to
create the concept of it.
Yeah, pretty well. And then for our second term, we designed a affirmation-based wellness app.
Ooh.
So again, all based around like, little bite chunks of mental well-being to sort of boost you throughout the day, meant to fill that sort of smaller gap to, keep you going without needing to find, larger resources, but, encouraging the people who wouldn't necessarily go to therapy or everything else. So.
Dang, yeah, that's awesome.
What did you find was your biggest challenge of the Capstone Project with all of that? Because it seems like it's a large scale project, and obviously it's worth 2 credits. So what was your biggest challenge with it?
I think the biggest challenge was almost like not necessarily staying focused on it, but like it's hard to like work on that same project for like
a
3 months, 3.5 months
That's
at
all
a
you're
time.
doing, right?
Yeah, and it's hard to keep working on that in such a gradual phase, because the teachers really encourage that. They want it to be like slow building sort, where it's taking things sort of one step at a time, and it's kind of hard to keep your eye on the goal, especially when the target is changing all the time. But yeah, it was very grounding to get back to that, like, that idea of like, don't start with the idea, just start with researching, going through it, figuring things out, and then taking what you learn from it. So
Yeah.
I mean, it must have been a great learning experience,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
especially like to put on your portfolio. That
Definitely.
something like a project of 3 months is really incredible to have.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely good building experience for when you leave GBDA, because
Mhm.
it's like that's what the real world's like. You do one big project at a time. You don't
Yeah.
do 5 at once or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
And I guess, do we have any other questions? I want to ask you quick. How was your GBDA Society experience? Because we know you were a GBDA alum, or sorry,
Yeah.
GBDA Society alum.
GBDA Society experience was great. I think it was a lot of fun. Just sort of being there to support people and helping them out in ways that we can. And it's fun because there's some things that we can't do as a small campus, but it's like finding those opportunities to just lift people up where we can. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's great to hear. This has been awesome to have you on, the first alumni interview on the show.
Mhm.
Big first. Hopefully, we're gonna have more soon. Hopefully, but yeah, that's pretty much been it. Do you have anything else to add, Noah?
No, I don't think so. Like, GBA has been like a really great experience. It's I've always said it's like you take what you get out what you put in from it. Find what you're interested in, go for that, learn things, like try new things. I don't know. That's the main part of it.
Yeah, that's been awesome.
Those are some great words of wisdom.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Great,
Thank you
great.
so much for having
Mhm.
you here, and we're really grateful that hey, you're our first alum on GBDA Society.
Yeah, it's been awesome, Noah.
Happy to
We're
be
grateful
here.
to have you. And yeah, that's been GBDA on air. I'm Charlie,
I'm Karen.
and we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for joining us, guys.